All tennis fans out there know that the sport is referred to as a gentleman's game, even though it might not look like one today with all the outbursts and tantrums we witness on the court. What's surprising is that Wimbledon is known to be the epitome of elegance and sophistication, but it's also the tournament where we see the most drama. Today, let's look at the top 10 biggest tantrums in Wimbledon history, starting with Viktor Troicki at number 10. This was easily one of the most famous scandals Wimbledon had seen, and it was surprising given the fact that the man was usually silent and calm. However, this one time, he just couldn't help himself from bursting out in anger. And guess who got the worst end of the stick? Yep, the chair umpire, as it is in these cases mostly. Ranked 27th in the world, just a few games away from the conclusion of his 5-set defeat at Wimbledon, Troicki let chair umpire Damiano Torella and the world know how he felt about a crucial decision. And remember how we said that he's known for being calm? Well, there was nothing calm about the scream we heard in this match. And the scream wasn't the only thing. He also went on to shout at the umpire. "Worst umpire in the world! What are you doing? Did you see the ball?" Troicki screamed at Torella, and then the Serb went on. "You're horrible. What are you doing? Tell me, what are you doing there? What are you doing there?" Up next at number 9, Nick Kyrgios. Despite losing his serve early in the first set against Paul Jubb, Nick Kyrgios got the action going at Wimbledon in only 12 minutes by crushing a ball out of court 3. While playing the British world number 219 on a lovely afternoon at Wimbledon, the Australian bad boy, who's infamous for losing his temper, shouted out. Before exploding after Jubb broke him to serve out the first set at 6-3, Kyrgios had a furious disagreement with the chair umpire regarding the volume of the crowd. The Aussie shouted at the umpire, saying they just can't decide to talk to him in the middle of the point, when he was right about to do a backhand. They can watch the tennis, but speaking and shouting out in the middle of the point? Like why? I don't know where it was. Kyrgios' continued struggles to regain form after the incident shows how much it put him off his game. The 27-year-old was feeling the heat as Jubb got another break chance at 3-4, but he couldn't hold his cool. The Australian gave Jubb a break as his forehand shot went into the net. And then here's the cherry on top. When Kyrgios lost his cool, he literally blasted the ball out of the stadium. Moving on at number 8, Grigor Dimitrov. Grigor Dimitrov isn't hesitant to communicate his happy and negative feelings on the tennis court, and that's precisely what he did back in 2016. The Bulgarian's victory in the 2016 Istanbul Open final was one of the most memorable moments in the history of tennis. Instead of coming out on top with an incredible victory, Dimitrov was disqualified after breaking 3 rackets. Since he and Diego Schwartzman had split the first 2 sets, each one on a tie-break, so he was understandably irritated during the rest of the match. But after that, Dimitrov made a number of careless mistakes, and the third set began to slip away from him. He knew he would be disqualified from the match for the last code violation after shattering his racket with Schwartzman leading 5-0 in the third set and on the verge of victory, but he wanted to end the battle on his own terms. What's more, at number 7, there was Jelena Ostapenko. Jelena lost during one of the most important matches of her life, and her behavior on the court clearly depicted her anger and disbelief. Many labeled her as the sore loser who was booed off the court, following a 4th-round loss to Tatiana Maria. To add fuel to the fire, she even went on and called her opponent lucky. So here's what happened. After losing 5-7, 7-5, 7-5 and having 2 match chances squandered, Latvia's Ostapenko slammed a water bottle at her chair, causing it to topple apart, and stormed off the court. The people in court 1 were not thrilled by Ostapenko's sour behavior as she left the court. And to show their disgust for her behavior, the entire court booed her while she left. Jeez. Not to forget at number 6, Jeff Tarango. On July 1st, 1995, number 80 ranked American player Jeff Tarango made headlines when he became the first player to default himself at Wimbledon by simply picking up his bag and leaving the court during his 3rd-round match against Alexander Morans. A series of arguments with chair umpire Bruno Ribu, who the player termed corrupt, led to his dramatic exit. The drama continued shortly after when Tarango's wife confronted the French umpire in the bowels of the All England Club and smacked him across the face. It was all super chaotic because he had never gone beyond the 3rd round of a Grand Slam tournament, losing twice at this level, at the 1989 US Open and at the 1993 French Open. He was not known for his gentlemanly manner, and he proved just that in this match. Following up, Tim Henman at number 5. Despite his moniker Tiger, Tim is a bit unlucky for this to be regarded as a tantrum. It's also a shame that he'll be remembered as the first player ever banned from Wimbledon during the Open era. Jeremy Bates, his doubles partner, had it much worse. When this happened, Henman and Bates were just 20 years old and up 2-0 in their match. Henman, feeling defeated, pulled a ball from his pocket and smashed it with his racket. The two were sent off despite their appeals as the ball went directly into ball girl Carolyn Hall at close range, causing her to cry. Hall avoided any serious injury and accepted Henman's apologies and subsequent peck. And by the way, who was the hero who slammed the match-winning shot that got Henman so worked up? It was Jeff Tarango. The American's expression when he saw it all was priceless. He had no idea how he would always be remembered for this match. Next up at number 4, Damir Dokic. This tantrum is known to Jelena Dokic's father, a key witness in this case. After his daughter won an outdoor tennis match, Damir, also known as the tennis parent from hell, became intoxicated and smashed a journalist's phone, leading authorities to arrest him. He was also rude in that he went ahead and called the Women's Tennis Association Nazis, and declared that the Queen supports democracy but that the rest of Britain is a fascist state. His meltdown at Wimbledon wasn't an exception, since a year before, he had called the Birmingham tournament organizers Nazis. Geez, this one was really out there. Like, the question we raise here is, how do these guys come up with such creative liners? Not to mention at number 3, Greg Rusedski. A member of the audience labeled one of Andy's strokes as long, leading the British player Greg Rusedski to halt playing, maybe in shock or disbelief, and then, because he stopped, he ended up letting the American win the point. Rusedski went on an obscenity-filled rant that was broadcast live on Britain's BBC, when umpire Lars Graf declined to replay the point. The athlete claimed how ridiculous the whole thing was and how letting one person in the crowd change the whole game wasn't acceptable. When Rusedski lost his cool and proceeded to lose the following 5 games in a row, he was eliminated from the competition. Moving on to number 2, McEnroe. McEnroe delivered probably the most memorable furious outburst in sporting history. This occurred during the 3rd set of his match in the 3rd round at Wimbledon in 1981. We all knew he was never hesitant to speak out against the umpires, line judges, or even his opponents during his career. But this time he decided to go all out. No wonder there have been a ton of comparisons in today's day and age to the infamous Aussie Nick Kyrgios. Both seem to speak their mind whenever, wherever. The player had struck a serve that he believed was in, but the ball was judged out by the umpire, which prompted him to practically have a breakdown. Since he was plainly irritated, he said the famous line, "You cannot be serious. That ball was on the line." And now you know precisely when this joke was created. Johnny was undoubtedly seeing red by this moment, as he absolutely refused to back down. He was ready to get justice for himself, but it just wasn't meant to be. Even when the umpire sought to counter his argument, nothing worked out, and he continued to scream, and that's simply how a stubborn guy operates. Finally, Anna Smashnová. Anna's rage is the only one of its kind to make the cut as one of the most infamous in Wimbledon's history. She got pretty angry and, unlike others, she didn't let it out on the opponent, the chair umpire, or even the audience. But it was her opponent's husband who had to face her wrath. Yep, true to her name, she smashed the ball at him. The ball struck a spectator despite her miss. Anna said that the opponent's husband had been actively attempting to provoke her during the game. That's a wrap for this video. So, which of these outbursts stunned you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.